think it's in the past week we have been discussed that about the anusaya and um that for my personal issues, that when I say that my metta, the loving kindness, hasn't been developing well. I wonder whether it has to do with the my own mana, or when the anger or whatever I dislike arise, and that make the anusaya just sort of arise too, and thus the anger sort of blocking the loving kindness. So I would like you to explain or describe that kind of kilesa. Thank you.
Yeah, I think that it's not just because this or that, but the main root is no understanding of the truth, as not I or anyone. And Panya can understand what is wholesome and what is unwholesome right then, even right now. Right understanding is so very truthful. It understands how much or how little understanding about the word, my ego or self and so on, all comes from ignorance, not understanding what is there as it is. So it's I again and again, even listening, beginning to understand what condition this or what condition that. But as long as the reality, the nature, the characteristic of that is not known, just it's talked about, it's different. That's why I see the misunderstanding of what is now appearing is the only way to take it for I or something or someone with mana or without mana. See, that's why we learn to understand the truth. Whatever is there is real. It has its own different natures, different conditions for its arising and appearing. That's why learn to understand what is there, little by little.
ท่านอาจารย์ครับ can we say that it's similar to not wanting to have anger, it's just more anger, and usually wanting to have this Dhamma, not wanting to have that Dhamma is just more ignorance.
Beginning to understand the truth of no one at all. Otherwise, no matter we talk about this or that, it's always something or mine or someone. That's why learning about the ultimate truth. Reality cannot be changed at all. What is there now is there, like seeing now is seeing only. It cannot be ego. It cannot be attachment because it's that which arises to just see, the chief of experiencing what is there as different color. So it conditions different shape and form, long or short, tall or high, and so on, to be taken for something in life, not just only this life. So many lives long ago, years and years. That's why the more understanding of what is there as not self, it conditions the more understanding of its whole unwholesome. And it's the way to let go. Ignorance, which condition all kinds of Dhamma. Avijja condition sankhara, see. Learn to understand the truth, not just the word. When it's just the word, it covers up the truth. Avijja, see now, no understanding of seeing. Condition sankhara, take it for something all the time. That's why just learn to understand the nature, the truth of reality now appearing. That is the only way. Not to, just to talk about it, to read about it, to think about it, but begin to understand the truth right now, little by little, to be the first round of Ariya Satya. Otherwise, how can be more understanding? So people forgot that and that hearing the truth, hearing the Dhamma, is just to understand the truth, because the truth cannot be changed at all, right?
So
That's why it
yes,
has to be
Tanichan.
so very patient.
Yes, Tanichan, that patience is also very important, and patience also to understand what is patient, when is patient is also very important. And like just now, I talked about ignorance without understanding of what ignorance really is, and so in the end, it's just uh, have to listen more and more, and have some understanding at the intellectual level of uh, what all these things are and how much ignorance is there, and uh, and sometimes it seems that better than just uh, talking about this and that is just to listen to anything, because everything is Dhamma and there's ignorance about all Dhammas.
And that is
And
the reason why we listen to the teachings, to considering the reality which is now appearing, that it's that Buddha had enlightened to the truth of it. And what about listening? Just to understand, to let go ignorance, to develop right understanding at moment of understanding what is there, little by little.
Yes, even listening can be done with self. So there's so much ignorance, Sanachan, and
That's right.
attachment to self. That's why you keep reminding us, because that's the biggest obstacle. So, Kuntiu, I think this attachment to self is really nasty. And it comes in even while listening to Dhamma and in questions about, all sorts of things. We talk about Anusaya, we talk about Kilesa and the need to have more Kusala. And the real enemy at that time may be just attachment to self.
like, I think it's even beyond that. Um, to just attaching to self is of course one big obstacle. However, um, perhaps if we simplified it to not really understanding Dharma and what is happening right now, maybe that's cover better and remind us that how little or how ignorant we are.
Yes, ignorance is there, and even the anagami still has ignorance. But when there is some understanding, uh, and as Putujana, we can see that the attachment to self is ready all the time, even uh, in asking questions about Dhamma, and uh, and I think that's an obstacle that is really nasty, and more nasty than just ignorance, because as we know that that's the first hurdle, and um, even after no wrong understanding anymore, ignorance is still there, but the wrong understanding stops us from the development of right understanding.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, wrong understanding is probably caused it all. But you can't. I don't think we can separate that wrong understanding from avijja, can we? Because avijja is the beginning
But
of
they're Yeah, but
samsara.
they're different. They're two different dhammas. One is simply covers up the reality, is ignorance about the reality. The other one just mistakes what is right for wrong, what is good for bad. And I think this second one is worse than the first in that sense.
Perhaps. Still, I think but then what caused wrong understanding if it's not avijja?
It is, avijja is the root of all, akusala. So avijja is there, but it's not like we try to deal with avijja now, because even right, as I say, even the Sotapanna, Sakadagami, and Anagami still have ignorance, but they don't try to root out, ignorance. They just understand.
But quote unquote we really deal with avijja. We can't deal with that.
Yes,
No, there's
yeah,
no we, right? So we can't deal with avijja, can we? Then
no,
the
no,
avijja
no.
that's
That's
called
we is wrong understanding, and as I said, when there's we, then it is takes one away from listening. And but when there's some understanding of wrong, this particular dhamma, wrong understanding, the attachment to self, then even avijja is not an obstacle, because avijja can be the object of understanding.
it. Dr. Janka, is it? I'm not sure whether I agree with Kun Sukin on this, that avijja is not obstacle in that sense.
It's not I who can judge whether it obstruct or not, but understanding the reality, the nature of each one, to understand that it's not the same one or the same kind, because reality is so very, very subtle. Whatever now arises falls away in split seconds, never to arise again in samsara. See? Never, never at all. That's why learn to understand the truth, the nature of each reality, not try to judge or compare or think about it whether can I or anyone understand it as much. But the understanding of the truth of what is there, taught by the realization of the Buddha himself. What is the true nature? What is real? What is there? Cannot be known at all if there's no hearing and considering about what is what. For example, seeing, is there avijja? When there is understanding of what avijja is, so very subtle, then there can be the answer. No need to think about it in order to say whether it's there with avijja or not. But understanding what is avijja. See, no understanding of the truth. How many levels? There's no understanding of the nature of seeing right now. See, sees what? Different things. But in truth, what is seen cannot be anything at all. It's just that which impinge on the eye base, condition seeing to arise to see, with other conditions to experience or to see pleasant object or unpleasant object. That's why learn to understand only, not to judge or not to think that how much understanding I am now having and so on, but just to understand. And the understanding the reality deeper and deeper and deeper is the only way to let go ignorance of one by one reality which has been considered very carefully. For example, now, Buddha taught about many cetasikas arising with citta at different moments. It cannot be known or realized without begin to understand each different one as it is, not as I. So when the reality appears in a day, it can condition moment of understanding it. It's there, that reality, conditioned to be there. Without condition, it cannot be there at all. So learn to understand what is there and learn to understand the conditions for its arising and a little more to let go doubt about the nature of that reality and condition for its arising and so on. This is the way to let go, not try to let go. How or why I can't and I can and so on. That is all about ignorance and I. That's why it's so subtle. Just for the sake of understanding the truth, the only way to let go ignorance and all kinds of akusa.
So Kunchiu, it seems from what Thanachan just said, it is, as you say, at the root of all problems is ignorance, because it is ignorance that is, it's because of ignorance there's no interest in understanding what appears now, and it's, it means the ignorance is still there, that there's no attention to what's now, and instead there's, you know, more interest in other things than what is appearing now.
But
Is that it?
yes,
Is that the way you study, Kunrit?
That was me, Thanachan. That was
คุณ
Sukin.
ไม่คุณฤทธิ์ไม่มาแล้วเหรอคะออกไปแล้วเหรอ
Uh,
Yang
What we
you.
are what we
Yeah,
are
Ajahn, I am
talking,
here.
yeah,
I am all
because
ears here.
yeah, because what we are talking is for the others too, not just Kun Jiu and Kun Sukin. Anyone who here can have doubt or question about whatever they are interested. So now I ask Kunrit whether is that the way you study Dhamma?
Uh, the way to study Dhammas,
You,
right,
just
Ajahn?
you, just you. Is that the way you study Dhamma?
Uh, can you repeat the before
When we
that?
are talking about avijja, about the nature, the characteristic of any reality to be known, not just to wish to have, how I can have it more or less. See, that is not the understanding, but the understanding is moment of understanding the nature of one reality, to have more understanding of the truth that it is no one, it cannot be taken for anyone. That is the point of studying, not just how can I have less or how can I have more. That is not the way to study Dhamma, because it's wrong way, just for oneself. Again, no understanding the Dhammas do not belong to anyone at all. It's conditioned to arise. Firmer understanding, firmer confidence of the truth. That's the way to study Dhamma.
Yes,
Mm.
Ajahn. Yes.
Is that the way you study, Kundri?
No, not the wrong way like that. It's
No, no. Just not to have such idea about how can I have more or less kusla and akusla, more kusla, less akusla. How can? See, no question about how can, but it's the understanding only which can let go ignorance and attachment.
yes.
So the sake of listening is to have the understanding of the truth, and it works its way. It's not I as before, but it's a reality which understand the truth and the way to develop kusla to support the moment of good or wholesome moment to be the support of parami for less akusla, more akusla, and more condition for understanding the truth further and further. Is that everyone now study for the sake of understanding only, because nothing can be belong to anyone at all. What about the other? We talk with everyone. If there are any question, please, we can discuss more.
I think Kaya and Priya left Thanachan. They were here earlier, but when Kun M restart the Zoom again, and they didn't come back.
I can
No
see
matter.
Kun Priya. Priya is here.
Oh,
I hope
Priya, yes, it's good.
yeah,
Yeah,
and I hope she understands English well, and it's not a problem for her.
good, good. Oh yeah, Priya is back and Sohan is back. So Sohan and Priya, you please welcome. We will Thanachan
สวัสดีครับ
welcome your
อาจารย์
question.
yes ครับ hello
Thanachan,
Yes, Sohan, couldn't you welcome you? And I'm wondering whether you're following the English discussion. Is it okay?
yes yes we are listening everything just now the Ajahn teach to us.
Yes. Okay. Okay. Good. Good.
so Thanachan, I had asked you to elaborate it more for the benefit of the others. But when you ask uh, could read about how did he study, should we ask Sohans and Priya to tell us how they studies Dharma?
Yes.
Yeah. So Sohan, please go ahead.
Or any question if you have. We can talk about anything in order to understand that no matter what, it's Dhamma.
Yes ครับ
Sohan,
yes,
anything you ask is not just for you; it's for everyone. Everything you say, or anyone says anything in these discussions, it's for the benefit of everyone who has some glimmer of understanding.
Just
so I want to ask about of dhatus, the 18 dhatus.
so, what's the meaning of Thatu? What's the nature? What is the truth of Thatu? Is it real?
real ครับอาจารย์
Yes, Ajahn.
So, whatever is real has its own characteristic, appearing to be known that it's real. Is that right?
yes ครับ
So, all dhammas are Thatu. Is that right?
yes อาจารย์
Not cling to the word, because Buddha say about the group of this reality or that by way of Thatu or by way of such and such, but there have to be understanding of the nature of that in order to understand why it's there as this group. See, as the group of Thatu, even
yes
all Dhatus, even all are Dhatus. So how many Dhatu, how many kinds? See, just
there are
understand the nature of Dhatu. It doesn't matter the number at all, right?
yes yes ครับอาจารย์
So what Dhatu would you like to talk about?
มโน dhatu อาจารย์ครับ
Okay, what is Mano?
the mind doorway.
Mano is Chitta, right?
yes ครับอาจารย์
But Chitta are different by way of some Chitta experience object through five doorways and some only one doorway. Is that right?
yes yes ครับอาจารย์
Can seeing is that which sees through mind door?
from mind door no is panchadwara vasana.
Number again, word again, but what about the understanding? Are you talking about Manodhatu
yes ครับอาจารย์
from where you heard? What category?
what category
So when you heard the word mano, do you have any understanding of mano?
Not deeply, Ajahn Kap.
Oh no, mano is chitta, right?
Yes, we know only this. Mano is chitta.
No, when we talk about vinyana dhatu, the seeing is vinyana dhatu, right?
Yes, Kap Ajahn.
Even it's chitta, but it's the chitta which experiences the object through the eye door only. That's
Ah,
why
yes,
even it's chitta, but it cannot experience the object through the mind door.
mind door.
It
Yes, Kap Ajahn.
sees, it sees, so it is vijnana dhatu. That's why how many dhatu under this category?
6 dhatus.
And Priya, how many?
Priya?
It's
More
so
than
good
that, Kun Sahan. More than that.
More than that.
when
The
we
18 dhatus?
when we learn about dhatu. Buddha sums up what are there as dhatu, how many group of them, because chitta has its function to perform different moment, different dhatu.
Yes,
So
total
we
is
have
18. Total is 18 dhatu, Ajahn Kap.
อะไรนะ
And
คะ It's so
yes,
good
Ajahn.
that you are interested to understand, but understand the nature of reality, not just the word. Which group is it? But talking about dhatu, how many dhatu by way of group? How many?
18. 18.
That is chitta.
The
Chitta.
chittas is 7.
When we talk about chitta, it's that which is the chief of experiencing the object, never change. But there are so many different chittas, different
The
way of being, whether it is
7 one,
vijnana
Ajahn.
dhatu or mano dhatu. Listen carefully to each word, not just the whole at once.
Okay, Kap Ajahn.
Okay. Have you heard about Jakku Vinyana Dhatu?
Yes, Kap Ajahn.
One and
Sota Vinyana dhatu.
are they the same?
No, it's different. Different
That's
reality.
why there is one Jakku Vinyana Dhatu, Sota Vinyana Dhatu, and what else?
Khana Vinyana dhatu.
Okay. Can Panchatavara Vachana see or hear?
Panchadwara Vachana. And see
Can
or
it
hear.
see? Can it see?
No, only Chakku Vinyana dhatu can see.
The question is about Panchatavara Vachana. And the question is, can Panchatavara Vachana see?
It
This is
cannot see, but
learning.
it
It
arises.
cannot see. It cannot see. Learn little by little. It cannot see. So can Panchatavara Vachana be Jakku Vinyana Dhatu?
No, no, Kap Ajahn.
That's why. How many Jakku Vinyana Dhatu?
Only one.
Kusala, Vipaka, or
And
Akusala
Akusala
Vipaka.
Vipaka Kap Ajahn.
But by
Two
way of Dhati, it is Jakku Vinyana Dhatu, right?
dhatu, yes. Kap
See,
Ajahn.
understand the nature, the truth, the reality, not just the word, because each word has its own meaning.
Yes, Ajahn.
That's why Panchatavara Vachana, how many doorway can it experience?
How many doorway can we experience? Is 5?
Can Panchatavara Vachana experience object?
Is 5?
5 doorway. So it's another group, but no Dhatu, not Jakku Vinyana Dhatu, Sota Vinyana Dhatu, but it is manotatu because it can experience all five doorways object one by one. But it can experience, not see, not hear, but just know that the object is there at the doorway. But it cannot.
Yes.
So it cannot be Jakvinyana Dhatu, Sota Vinyana. It can be Mano Dhatu because it can experience five objects.
Yes, Kapazan.
This is the way to gradually let go, the cling to the word, to the moment of thinking, moment of liking, and so on, not understanding any truth of each moment at all. They are different and very complex because it seems that they are all together, now seeing and hearing and thinking. But the enlightenment of the Buddha, enlightened to the truth, the nature that arises and falls away in split second. Even it is citta which experience the object by different moments, by different function, and so on. As the dhatu, we have to learn how many are there because they are different. How many ways they are different. By way of dhatu, chakku vinyana dhatu,
Tota
only
Vinyana Dhatu.
so on. So how many cittas experience five doorways object?
The five chittas.
What are they? Listen
Chakku Vinyana
carefully.
Dhatu.
Listen carefully. How many cittas experience the object through five doorways? How many? Okay.
Chitta.
How many? Which can experience all five objects,
Oh,
not just
Manodhara.
one. No, five.
Sorry, Achan. Question again, can you
Okay, listen carefully.
repeat?
How many cittas experience five objects through five doorways?
Through
It
five
can
doorways. The five
experience
chittas.
five objects, not only one object, but five objects
The five
through.
chitta, Achan.
That's why we learn to listen to just one reality at a time.
Yes.
Otherwise, they are mixed up. No one can understand the way it is so complex. But the teaching of the enlightened one, see, enlighten the truth of each reality, each moment, each object. That's why we learn to understand the virtues of the Buddha. Otherwise, no one can understand anything at all in life as it is. So listen again. How many cittas, how many cittas experience five objects, not only one object only. It can experience five objects through five doorways because Jakku experience only one object through one doorway, through one doorway, that's right. But
Yes, sir.
how many cittas can experience five objects, not only one? See, this
सोहान
is the
सोहान अचान ये पूछ रहे हैं कि कितने चित्ता है जो पांचों ऑब्जेक्ट्स एक्सपीरियंस कर सकता है।
तो एक है सर मनोद्वारा।
हाँ हाँ, तो अचान को आंसर दो।
हाँ तो
what's the
पहले बोल
answer, please? What's the answer, please?
मनोद्वारा अचान का।
Wrong. See, Manodavara Vachanachita. Listen, Manodavara Vachanachita. Experience what object?
Experience what object?
Can Manotawara Vachana see?
Cannot, because it's mental factor.
So, Han, you have to distinguish between Mano Dvara and Mano Dhatu. Achan is now asking you answered Mano Dvara. Now you have to answer uh, about talk about what is Mano Dvara, and Achan is asking how many uh, objects does Mano Dvara experience.
How many objects?
Manotawara Vachana Chitta.
Manodwara.
I asked about 5, is it?
It
And
can
Achan, to be sure, because what I conveyed to uh, Kun Sohan, I don't know it was correct or not. Your question originally was how many chittas experience all 5 objects?
Is there any book about the tattoo? How many tattoo are there? Vijnana tattoo, that which experience the object.
6 dhatus.
Is there any book on it to study?
No, Achanka.
There must be, isn't it, Kun Sohan?
Ji.
Achan didn't make up, Achan also heard it from the Buddha, no?
Yes, Kap.
So you heard from somewhere and you just want to know, but without any basic understanding, little by little firmly or firm enough. So it's just the book knowledge. But when there is moment of understanding the reality, which is not easy to realize at all, because it doesn't have any shape, color, smell, or anything at all. Imagine the reality which experience one object at a time. But they are different because some of them can experience 5 objects and some can experience only one object. See, even it's citta, even it experiences the object, but they are different. They cannot be the same. That's right. Buddha taught about different kinds of vijnana dhatu, about citta only.
Than Achan Krap, I usually never remember when I hear about 18 dhatus and all that, because I never remember the numbers, so I don't continue to listen. But today, because there's this discussion, which is I think very important, and I'm listening, and I'm considering about the 18 dhatus, but I still wonder, my conclusion that it's so very deep, and the question rose in my mind why the Buddha taught about the 18 dhatus, and listening to your explanations, I'm still coming to the point to think that just to hear that explanation, it seems to condition more questions about and still attachment to the numbers than to just understand. If I don't know if it's involves any real understanding or just remembering the answers. That's what I'm wondering, because it seems like it's very far from understanding. The level of understanding that is now is too little to really understand 18
That's
dhatus.
why. That's why before there can be understanding enough to go deeper and deeper to the truth, to eradicate or eradicate the akusala stage by stage. It's not easy at all. So very deep and so subtle. So I talk about vijnana dhatu. Everyone knows we mean chitta, right?
Yes, Kap Achan.
Okay. But the question I asked for anyone to think about it, not just to remember the number. How many chittas experience one object only. See, can it be question, not the number? Just what kind of citta? What citta can experience only one object? See, very simple, not number yet. But how
And there can
many?
be, Thanachan, there can be either one answer that what is categorized as mano dhatu, or it can
Not the
be
name,
also
not
the
the
answer
name.
that many chittas
No,
can.
no, no, no. The question is what citta experiences one object only, only one.
That is the vinyana dhatu, each one. Like seeing experiences only visible object, hearing experiences sound, smelling experiences smell, tasting experiences taste, and body sense experiences uh, the hardness, softness, heat, cold, motion,
So
pressure.
we learn about different tattoo, different kind of tattoo of
Yeah.
citta, right? Of vijnana, right?
Yes, Tanachan, the vinyana dhatu is
And if
these
no
five.
one asks, if there's no one asks, we just talk about vijnana tattoo, chakku vijnana tattoo, experience visible objects. So, but when the question just a little more considering,
Yeah.
we talk about how many citta experiences only one object, can
May I answer?
experience only one object. See, a little more understanding that reality cannot be changed at all. No
May
matter
I
we
answer,
talk about
Chan?
this way or the other way, it depends on understanding. If there's not understanding, just remembering, one can say how many, Jakuinjana, Sotanya. But what about the understanding? What the question is, it means that there are other jittas which experience more objects, see, a little more understanding to let go what is there in life, to be reminded,
อาจารย์คะ
much understanding.
um I have a questions. I'm kind of the same with Kun Suchin that I don't remember all these numbers and thing, but
Okay,
I
okay, okay. No, no.
I want to let go the and I understand that you just asked
No,
one,
no, 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 no,
but
no, no,
Thanachan,
that
no,
well, excuse me,
no.
can I finish? Can I just
Just
finish?
test the
no, can I say
understanding.
something, Chan? Can I say, can I
Just,
answer?
no, no,
It is,
not yet. Listen, just test the understanding. Is that right?
the question
Um,
that,
but the question is, if Dhatu is all Dhamma, and why that we have Dhamma Dhatu? That's I'm get mixing up. If Dhatu is Dhamma, and then there's a Mano Dhatu, and then it's Dhamma Dhatu, and
Because they are
why?
different. Because they are different by way of dhatu. What does it mean? Dhammadhatu. Because we talk about just the dhatu.
Yes, Sachin.
That's
So
Thanachan,
Kunchiu, the meaning of Dhamma is one thing, many things actually, they, different aspects, but meaning of Dhamma Dhatu is different. It's not the the meaning of Dhamma. It's another meaning. It's understanding of Dhatu. Why Dhatu?
Okay, got it. Thank you.
for
yeah.
example, when seeing arise, how many dhatus?
Three Thanachan.
Hey,
Only one?
There are a lot
See,
of tattoo, Chan. There are a lot.
See, that's why we learn by this way or by that way to check or to
Yeah.
see how much understanding if the question is just about this or just about that. Otherwise, all adamas finished. See, it's not finished. Or what are dhammas? How many groups? Or how many reality? What is a dhamma? Exactly.
Thanachan, can I back to your question? Yeah.
Kundrit,
Actually,
how many
mhm.
tattoos? Vinyana tattoo.
No, your basic question is it's just Tvipancha Vinyana. Tvipancha Vinyana. But now you ask when seeing how many tattoo. So like
How have you
Chaku
heard?
tattoo. Yeah.
Have you heard about how many tattoos by way of vinyana tattoo?
You ask totally of tattoo or you talk about seeing, the moment of seeing?
You learned a lot. Have you heard about how many tattoo by way of
Eight, 18
pardon?
tattoo. 18.
Okay. It's so doubt. What are they? Etun tattoo. What? All dhammas are tattoo. See? That's the way to understand no matter Dhamma is divided into different groups or different manners, different way. What are the difference are there? To be the moment of letting go, ignorance, attachment, because ignorance is so very enormous. Just one word, or Dhammas are dhatu, not enough. Even the word dhatu can be classified by different dhatus, by way of dhatu, vinyana dhatu. See?
Yeah,
But
Thanachan is
but Thanachan, even if we get an explanation, there seems to be no letting go because there's no
Not
understanding. It's
right.
just remembering. It's just remembering
But
the
when there
answers.
is, but when there is a little more understanding of reality, is that not letting go ignorance of that?
But
Only that
understanding reality means understanding what appears, not
three
just.
rounds, not just one round of Arya Satya.
But isn't Pariyati or Satyayana still about what appears, even if it's intellectual, even it's just thinking about seeing now? If there's seeing
Because
now, there's no understanding about the chetasikas that arise
no,
with
no, 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 no,
seeing.
no, no. Even the first round, it seems like it's so useless, but in truth, it's so very useful. Just one word of truth. It can bring more condition, more understanding, little by little, little by little. So we talk about the truth of what we have learned, we can say, for those who learned about the process and so on. So the question is that to be thought about carefully, how much understanding, when the question is how many vinyana dhatu which can experience only one object. It means that you have heard about the processes. Each one perform different function. Is that right?
10 Vinyana, Chan. 10 Vinyana. Tvipancha Vinyana.
But as it is saying, when we talk about the dhatu, okay, and then what else of the 18? We
Uh,
talk about the number, then we classify later.
yeah. But Achan, you asked about seeing, like the moment of seeing,
What
how many
the question is how many vinyana dhatu experience one object. That is the question. Is that right?
Yes, first question is like that.
So what is the answer?
Tvipancha Vinyana. Tvi 10 Chita Vinyana.
Why?
Be- because like Chakku Vinyana Dhatu, Chakku Vinyana is seeing. Yeah.
Because you see that according to the question, the answer has to be according to the question. How many vinyana dhatu experience one object? So the answer is Chakku vinyana dhatu
Yeah.
experience only one object.
Yes.
Sota
Chak-
vinyana dhatu experience
yeah.
one object.
Yeah.
Khana vinyana dhatu experience one. This is just review about what has been learned or heard before, not to forget, but by different way they can be the clear understanding or exact understanding of each one, precise more and more, little by little. And this is a very subtle way to let go ignorance, because just learn by way of number and so on, it cannot condition to be moment of attending to what we have learned about each different one, vijnana. See, Dhamma is so very subtle. It has to be very clear understanding. That is pariyatti, no matter by what way or what topic. It has to be answered because the understanding of that object is clear and not forgotten. And
Anachan,
that's
I have a question which I've always wanted to ask but never asked, and today you brought it up. And since you brought it up, I would like to ask. This question is about pariyati or satyayana. Today, what I'm hearing from you is that um, there is pariyati, even if it's not understanding about uh, the reality now. In the attention is not to the reality now. And at other times, I hear that it is has to be about the reality now. So now I'm not sure. I mean, like this question has been, I mean, for a
shall
long
we
time
talk
and never asked.
shall we talk little by little about this beginning?
Yes, yes, please, Tanachan, let's talk
So
about
what
this.
did you say in the beginning? Stop and
Um,
stop and stop to discuss about it.
what is pariyati? That's the
Okay.
question.
Okay. This is so very important. If it's just the word, is it the teaching of the Buddha?
No, because anyone can read uh,
No, no,
the
I don't
text
mean
and
read yet.
remember.
I don't mean read. Just, what did you say again?
If it is the word about the truth and the Buddha taught it, we can say from that aspect that it is pariyati.
Okay. Just the word pariyatti, the word about the truth, condition or lead or bring about the understanding of what is there, isn't it? Not just the number like 80, number of citta, 89 and so on, cetasika and so on. That's the word, but what is citta right now? Is that cetasika right now? Is that Buddha enlightened and taught the other to understand the truth, which is so very subtle? So each word is not to memorize or to not be translated, but to understand the truth, because each word represents a reality, not just nothing, only word. Otherwise, it would never be pariyatti. No understanding of any reality is not pariyatti, but the understanding of the reality of reality is not the moment of realizing the truth, the third stage, and from no one, nothing, nothing at all, just hear and then realize the truth. Is that Dhamma, the teaching of the Buddha? So the teaching of the Buddha, not only the word, each word represents a reality. So anyone who write on the board, how many chittas are there, how many cetasiks are there, it's not pariyatti at all. No understanding of the truth. So each word of truth, not each word of word, but each word of truth right now
So,
is not
so
known.
Tanachan, what is the difference between the one who's writing on the board and the one who begins to understand? What is the difference?
Now, do you need paper to write? How many chittas? Seeing? Write down. How many cetasikas? Write down. Or it's here. Lopa is here. No need to write. Is that right?
Yes, Tanachan, that's how I understand it, is because, for example, if we talk about Patisanti, it's not that anyone can know Patisanti, but this is, there can be some understanding based on understanding of seeing now, that Patisanti is the first moment in life. It's also chitta, which
Even so,
is conditioned by karma.
even so, is there enough understanding of citta?
Oh, no. Tanachan is never enough, Tanachan.
So it is patisanti citta, but it's a firm confidence of citta to
No,
be
not at all,
to
Tanachan.
be pariyati, to be adidana, to be satya. See, it's so true. Not the word patisantititta, but the reality which experiences. Firstly, is there by condition performing the function of patisanti just right after death. It has to be that citta only, that function only. See, this is the way to understand what is citta and what is patisanti citta and what is pavanga citta and what is seeing, hearing. They are all the reality which experience the object, but they are so much different by way of dhatu, by way of paticca by way of everything taught by the Buddha about the truth of what is that, not the word. The word just represents the truth. Which one? Hardness. It's not in the book. Hardness is right there now. No understanding that it's only hard. The reality which whenever it arises is hard. Not my leg, not my arm, not my bed, not my anything at all. So this is Dhamma, not the word. But the word represents the reality, Dhamma, which is so very different. And Panya, before it can be Pariyatti, very, very keen, very, very clear at the level of understanding the truth about reality. Now, we heard about Citta. Is there any understanding of Citta? Or understanding that it's a reality which experiences an object? Whenever it arises, it experiences the object, see? It never changes its characteristic. So what is there in life each moment? The reality which experiences the object. Through doorway, which doorway, or no way at all. Learn to understand that which cannot be anyone, but it's conditioned by ignorance, no understanding of the truth. So wrong understanding is there. Ditta sowa, see, when we say anusaya, where is it? It does mean that there's no anusaya. When we talk about asava, it does mean that actually there's no asava. But in truth, it's there, unknown, at that level of asava. For example, seeing right now, no understanding of seeing, no understanding of that which is seen. Is that right? That's why the question about how many citta experience only one object, to understand the difference of citta which experiences the object. By doorway, when we ask about doorway, how many citta experience just one object, it means that only one doorway. Firma, no I, when there is the understanding, not just to answer, it's citta, it's seeing, it experience only visible object. And that's the word. But what about understanding the nature of that which sees now? Different moment, different one, different characteristic.
So, Tanachan, now I understand after hearing what you just said. So even the meaning of pariyati is different from what I understood. Because, for example, now I'm thinking about dhatu, which we talked earlier, and I suggested that it's so deep and there's no understanding. But it seems now that even hearing about dhatu can be reminder about chitta now. So even hearing about dhatu can help to understand chitta now, because vijnana is chitta now, is seeing. Vijnana dhatu is seeing, hearing, smelling, touching. So hearing about vijnana dhatu can condition understanding more understanding about seeing, about hearing, about touching, about smelling, etc. So is that what you mean by pariyati?
What is pariyati? Without understanding the nature of reality, can there be the second round and the third round? Just the word. How many jita? 80 and 89 and so on. But that does not condition the second round at all.
That I see the distinction between pariyati and patipati, but I'm still wondering whether pariyati has to always be about understanding seeing now.
If we don't talk about it, what condition the understanding of seeing?
But there has to be understanding arisen.
Yes,
And what does understanding understand? That's the key, the Tanachan.
not enough, or is it enough now to be the first, to be the second round?
Not yet second round. That
When will it be?
distinction, that difference, I understand. When it is firm enough.
So, how can it be firm enough? But how will it
Through
be?
considering Sutta Maya Panya, Chinta Maya Panya,
So
then
even
there's
the word,
Bhavna Maya Panya.
how many citta experience one object? So very subtly, very slightly, that it's the way of understanding little by little about seeing right now. Not just, seeing is a reality which experiences the object, no matter when just seeing is that which sees, and just only that. But there can be a little more careful considering, because without careful and wisely considering, what is there now cannot be realized, cannot be known, cannot be thought about at all. Even thinking about it, not at all in a day, if we don't talk about it. So just talk about seeing sees anytime, but what about how many citta which experience the object? It's like the food for considering the truth. No food at all, nothing to consider. Even it's there, see? But different ways, different manners of the truth by different manners. It can be talked about, it can be asked, it can be considered. Is that useless? Or is the way not to think about the other thing at that moment? That is parami, see? So very subtle, and we think just about the straight way, just talking that seeing sees, that's all. But it
Yes,
doesn't
Tanachan, now I
condition more
understand.
understanding.
Yes. If we consider that if that there are chittas that can think with ignorance and attachment, but not all the time, there can be some understanding, and there are many levels of understanding. So when there's understanding, it is understanding, and that must be either pariyati, patipati, or pativeda. And pariyati, there are many levels of pariyati also.
All by conditions.
Jonathan, is that it as part as a core of the first round of understanding? That means we have to be confident in the teaching. We have to be confident that Sapetama, not Sapetama, Anatta, Sapetama Sankara, right?
Each one has to be considered about that which is now appearing. But who can be aware with understanding of that without understanding little by little by different ways, different manner, different questions?
Mm,
See?
yes, it's very, very detailed, very linear.
And Kunchiu, I'm not
Mm,
sure where you're coming from, but there's always been a question in my mind about Satyayana, and we talk about confidence. And I think sometimes I make that mistake of thinking that Satyayana has to be a level of confidence which is very high, but I don't think it's there. It is like that. I think whenever there's understanding, even if it's little, there is confidence already. It has to be. There has to be beginning levels of confidence before there's stronger and higher confidence that will condition kichayana. So we're talking about confidence also needs to develop from little to more and more and more.
Yeah, but once, like everything else in studying or learning concept, um, if you don't have the first step, you will never understand the second step or know how hard it is. So,
But even the
but
first step, there are many steps in the first step.
well, I'm not taking it in that sense, but I mean, it there is one sutra that I listened yesterday, and I mean, a little doubt always taking one's confidence, and I'm talking about just this moment. I'm not thinking about what is beyond the pariyat or the first round because that beyond my intelligence, I guess. But anyway, I'll try to clarify it in other times. Thank you.
Chan, that actually reminds me of another question I meant to ask, but it is in Thai when I hear you talk about pariyati means ropru. What does ropru actually mean, Chan?
How many citta experience one object?
So is it only a pariyati when there's a lot of understanding about all the aspects of Dhamma, or even when it's just beginning to understand about Dhamma? Reality, the difference between reality and concept. That is also pariyati. Now the question is
So,
back
so
to
now
original.
begin again, study Dhamma to understand Dhamma, not to understand the number, right? Study
Yes,
Dhamma.
Tanachan,
So that's
this
why we
has
have to
always
know
been my
what is
position.
Dhamma. We have to know what is Dhamma to know that we are now studying Dhamma. Dhamma is seeing right now. And what about Citta before seeing? So how many Citta experience just one object? See, all are Dhammas now. Little
Yes,
by
yes,
little,
that's
it's
right,
firmer
Tanachan.
and
That's
firmer.
right.
May I interject here?
Please
I
and
think
please.
Okay. It would. The word that struck me was that every time it was said was consideration. In a lot of ways, I think is pariyati is when there is consideration of what is heard, and it's consideration. I think it's already been said, but the consideration of what is now, and as you've said, there's always now. There's always now doesn't go. Now is always there. Different moments, but it's the consideration, the deep consideration of what has been heard or what has been said that would
And what is there
lead
now?
to the pariyati. I'm sorry, I didn't hear.
And what is there now? Not just as with what is heard, but what is there now?
Yes,
The most important understanding Dhamma at level of book knowledge, intellectual understanding about what is there appearing now.
yes,
And that how the answer of how many jittas
mhm,
experience one object see.
yeah,
What is that now, seeing now?
yeah,
See, we learn more about what is there right now as it is. It's there to be known. Not just the book, not just the word. That's why if people think that Pariyata is just understanding the meaning of the word so well, so keen, that is not Pariyati at all. It has to be understand the nature of reality which is there. Hardness is
Yeah.
there, thinking is there, liking is there, and so on. Learn to understand the truth of Dhamma, because Dhamma is not the word or in the book. It's there right now. So well, so keen, that's why there can be any question about what we have heard. Even we don't count the number of tattoo as 18 tattoo by way of the way. See, when we talk about tattoo, 18 by the way, right? Seeing, hearing, smelling, tasting, touching, experience only each object, only one object, one doorway. But the other citta, we learn from the book, the number, Panchatavara Vachana Citta, Manodavara Vachana Citta, are they different by what? It can experience five objects through five doorways only. And how many of them? Panchatavara Vachana, Sampatichana, experience only five doorways. One Panchatavara Vachana, and two Sampatichana, Kusala Vipaka, and Kusala Vipaka. Why do we learn about the name? It's there right now, unseen, unknown, because what can be known has to be only through six doorways, only, no matter in this world or in hell or in Deva, Brahma, only six doorways. That's why we learn about the six objects through six doorways. That is there now, unknown, and how firm it is, as not I, not the word, it's not I, it sees, and so on. That's not enough at all. Because learning Dhamma, no matter what way, degree, by way of intellectual understanding, pariyatti, or patipatti, or pativita, is just about what is there now. Not known at all, to be known little by little, to have firm confidence, but not directly yet, even is there, arising and falling away. And how can it be conditioned to get closer to the truth which is there now, little by little? If there is no understanding well enough, firm enough, clear enough, how can there be the second round? Doubt about this and that, I and Jatu and so on, just talk about it. It's not just talk about it without understanding the truth. When we talk about tattoo, 18 tattoo, we don't mind the number, but the way the understanding of how many citta experience one object, see, it's by way of tattoo, different doorway. Somebody chana, see, experience how many doorway. See, this is to let go, to have firm confidence of no self, not just by word or number, but by understanding. Even it's not appearing, it does not appear, it's not appearing, but it's there. It can be known through what doorway, see, the object of the mind door and the object of the sense door, the five door and six door, see. Learn to understand no matter what is there in Tipitaka, the teachings of the Buddha, because he understands that it's so very helpful, it's so very precious. Without it, just few words doesn't make any progress at all. We have learned about Citta, how long? It's still there. But the more understanding of each word, which is the way, understanding more is the only way to let go gradually, unknowingly, so subtly. That is the teachings about what is there right now. From eons and eons and eons and eons ago, unknown. In darkness, even is so light now, seeing this and that, but no understanding of the truth at all. It's the word of atta, something, But the truth is all are anatta. It's the world of anatta. So when will it be moment of no atta right now? Each moment until the wrong understanding, michatiti, sakayatiti, attatiti, all kinds of titi cannot arise again. That is the third round of the truth. It's impossible, no word about it, but it's impossible by conditions. And the condition, the main one, the very important one, the great importance is right understanding of what is there appearing. So we have many words and many books, Abhidhamma, Suttanta, Vinaya, to understand that which is there as no one. Because we learn seeing is just a moment. How many Cetasikas arising? See? So when we talk about by way of Ayatana, see, Chakayatana, the Rupa, Rupa Yatana or Sattayatana, the Rupa, and we know when understanding how many are there. So many are there, but it cannot be known because it's away from that moment. It's there, arising and falling away, not at that very moment to condition such moment of seeing. So each word should be considered. It's not just it means this and that, but it's there as it is. Chakku Vijnana is not Rupa Yatana, it is Chakka Yatana, and so on, little by little. Even we don't use Ayatana, we can use Dhatu or anything, because no matter by what manners, it's there as it is, as we learn to understand the truth. And this is the study of Dhamma, because Dhamma is there now, seeing now, hearing now, so close. And this is the parami, support, kusala, conditioned by understanding the truth. No one. It's just a moment. What is there arising and falling away, never to arise again in samsara. The ultimate truth, no one. And it can be realized at the third level, conditioned by the second round, the second round conditioned by the first round. Unknowingly, unexpectedly, when Panya is there. Clearly, even now, it's an unexpected moment, each moment. But Panya does not know it, does not realize it. It has to be firmer and firmer to understand. Only one reality, only one. Otherwise, the object does not appear clearly as it is. So we live in the world of Atta, the world of the dream world, the world of things and people and I, until understanding the truth. Because even it's so light, it's no understanding. So it's the darkest truth, which is the unknown, until right understanding develops on, get closer and deeper to one reality at a time. In order to realize the truth that that one arises and falls away instantly by anattaness. It has to be anatta, no matter what. A reality conditioned to arise and fall away until the end sa ubekta, tisesanibbana, the end of that which is conditioned to arise, the condition for its arising has been eradicated, the moment of understanding, that there can be moment without attachment and ignorance and wrong understanding anymore in daily life as the proof.
คุณสุกิต
Yes, kun read.
may I be continually a bit more and could Ann too. Can we talk like how many tattoo when seeings arise?
Why not?
Yes. One by one, each tattoo by each tattoo. So when seeings arise, how many tattoos?
Uh,
Kunsukin?
well, I'm thinking now it's not important how many. We just know that there are all the realities that arise are all dhatus, and from the study of 18 dhatus, they are different kinds. So earlier when I was saying there are three, but actually there's also chetasikas, they're also dhatus.
Mhm.
So so I'm not interested in counting, but just to know that they're all dhatus.
That
So
makes sense.
yeah, I think it's the Chan want to elaborate or explain more about the Dharma that's very subtle. Not just we say that everything is just Dharma, just tattoo.
Yes,
That's what
that's the key.
yeah.
It's very subtle, it's very deep, and the path is very subtle. And we forget this also. And we think that just getting answers is the path. It's not. The path is more subtle than the Dhamma itself.
Yes.
That's why
That's
it's no need at all to think about how many, but it can be thought about to be considered. That's all. But there's so many reality that has to be considered. Why do we have to get stuck with the number? When how many tattoos? Just what is there now? What tattoo? Can it be the answer for that question? When there is the understanding of what is there now? It's tattoo, but we don't have to name it or call it what tattoo. But the reality is there to be known that it cannot be the other tattoo because it sees and so on. That's why even question has to be so useful for condition to consider a little more careful. But it depends. But the most important is no matter what question about number or the characteristic of how many doorways, it depends on to understand it, but not to cling to it, to try to ask a question all about in a day. But understanding the point, no matter whether it's the question or not the question, just for development, understanding of the truth. Because it's there, see. And when we say seeing sees, it means one object, only one doorway. See, the most important is understanding the truth. So anyone he is interested in number the 18 tattoo, see, can study, but what for? Understanding the reality which is tattoo right then, that is there, not known yet. So there are many ways for each different person by each different accumulation to understand the truth, one's own way by one's own accumulated conditions. But what about understanding? Is there other citta which experience the object more than one way? See, to understand that each citta is different. and learn more to understand more truth of it, why it cannot experience the other doorway and why it can experience how many doorway and so on, the difference each moment. The basic, the base, the foundation to let go, the idea of self. So very gradually, a little more firmer and firmer and firmer. Begin again, begin again, begin again. Because what has been heard, what is there, is covered up by other moment, ignorance, attachment, and other akusala. That's why begin again to begin to open up the truth a little more, little by little, again and again. I'm sorry I have to leave now. I have